Did you know that studies show around 70% of people struggle deeply with rejection, letting it affect their confidence and decisions? But what if silence, instead of reactions, could be your most powerful response? Hey there, Sigma females. Welcome back to Diurnal Stoic, where we dive deep into the unique strengths that set us apart. Today, we're exploring how staying silent in the face of rejection isn't just a choice. It's a strategy that empowers you to grow, thrive, and stay in control. Let's dive into why staying silent could be your strongest move when faced with rejection. Rejection stings, doesn't it? It can trigger emotions like embarrassment, anger, or doubt. Often, our immediate response is to defend ourselves, over-explain, or even lash out. But reacting impulsively can harm your peace and self-worth, pulling you into unnecessary conflicts or regretful situations. So, let's explore 8 game-changing reasons why keeping quiet might be your secret superpower when facing rejection. Reason number 1, silence maintains your mystery. Let's dive into our first powerful reason why silence is your greatest ally when facing rejection. Picture this. You've just been rejected, maybe for a job, by someone you were dating, or even by a social circle. Everyone expects you to react like most people do, to explain yourself, to get emotional, or to try and change their mind. But here's where Sigma females play the game differently. When you choose silence instead of an emotional outburst, something fascinating happens. You immediately break the predictable pattern that most people follow. Think about it. In a world where everyone is desperate to explain themselves, your silence becomes a statement. It's like being the only person wearing black in a room full of bright colors. You stand out, but in the most intriguing way possible. This mystery you create isn't just powerful, it's psychological warfare at its finest. While they're expecting tears, explanations, or anger, you're giving them nothing. This unexpected response creates a cognitive gap in their minds. They start questioning themselves. Why isn't she affected? What is she thinking? Did I make the right decision? Your silence becomes a blank canvas where they project their own thoughts, doubts, and curiosities. Here's the real power move. While they're busy trying to decode your silence, you're actually in complete control of the situation. You're not giving them any new information to work with, no ammunition to use against you, and absolutely no satisfaction of seeing you broken. Instead, you're wrapping yourself in an aura of mystery that makes you even more intriguing than before. Think of it like this. When you stay silent, you're like that expensive perfume that doesn't need to announce its presence. Its subtle scent makes people turn their heads naturally. Your silence sends a clear message. I'm so secure in who I am that I don't need to defend or explain myself to anyone. I've seen this work countless times. One of my followers shared how she remained silent when she was rejected for a promotion. Instead of begging or explaining why she deserved it, she simply nodded and went back to her desk. Her unexpected reaction made her boss so curious that he called her back the next day to discuss her career goals. Her silence made her more memorable than any words could have. Remember, queens, mystery is not just attractive, it's powerful. In a world where everyone overshares and over-explains, your calculated silence makes you stand out. It shows that you're operating on a different level, that you're not bound by the usual social scripts of reaction and explanation. By maintaining your mystery through silence, you're not just protecting your energy, you're building your brand. You become that person who can't be easily read or manipulated. That Sigma female who keeps everyone guessing, the one who makes others wonder what's going on in her mind. The best part? This mystery often leads to people realizing their mistake in rejecting you in the first place. When they can't figure you out, you become more interesting, more valuable, and sometimes even more desirable. than before the rejection. So the next time you face rejection, remember, your silence isn't just an absence of words. It's a powerful statement that says, I'm different, I'm confident, and I'm mysteriously untouchable. If you've ever experienced the power of staying mysterious through silence, drop a zip it in the comments below. And trust me, you won't want to miss our second reason. It's a total game changer for every Sigma female out there. Reason 2, dignity and grace. Let's dive into our first powerful reason why silence is your greatest ally when facing rejection. Picture this. You've just been rejected, maybe for a job, by someone you were dating, or even by a social circle. Everyone expects you to react like most people do, to explain yourself, to get emotional, or to try and change their mind. But here's where Sigma females play the game differently. When you choose silence instead of an emotional outburst, something fascinating happens. You immediately break the predictable pattern that most people follow. Think about it. In a world where everyone is desperate to explain themselves, your silence becomes a statement. It's like being the only person wearing black in a room full of bright colors. You stand out, but in the most intriguing way possible. This mystery you create isn't just powerful, it's psychological warfare at its finest. While they're expecting tears, explanations, or anger, you're giving them nothing. This unexpected response creates a cognitive gap in their minds. They start questioning themselves. Why isn't she affected? What is she thinking? Did I make the right decision? Your silence becomes a blank canvas where they project their own thoughts, doubts, and curiosities. Here's the real power move. While they're busy trying to decode your silence, you're actually in complete control of the situation. You're not giving them any new information to work with, no ammunition to use against you, and absolutely no satisfaction of seeing you broken. Instead, you're wrapping yourself in an aura of mystery that makes you even more intriguing than before. Think of it like this. When you stay silent, you're like that expensive perfume that doesn't need to announce its presence. Its subtle scent makes people turn their heads naturally. Your silence sends a clear message. I'm so secure in who I am that I don't need to defend or explain myself to anyone. I've seen this work countless times. One of my followers shared how she remained silent when she was rejected for a promotion. Instead of begging or explaining why she deserved it, she simply nodded and went back to her desk. Her unexpected reaction made her boss so curious that he called her back the next day to discuss her career goals. Her silence made her more memorable than any words could have. Remember, queens, mystery is not just attractive, it's powerful. In a world where everyone overshares and over-explains, your calculated silence makes you stand out. It shows that you're operating on a different level, that you're not bound by the usual social scripts of reaction and explanation. By maintaining your mystery through silence, you're not just protecting your energy, you're building your brand. You become that person who can't be easily read or manipulated. That Sigma female who keeps everyone guessing, the one who makes others wonder what's going on in her mind. The best part? This mystery often leads to people realizing their mistake in rejecting you in the first place. When they can't figure you out, you become more interesting, more valuable, and sometimes even more desirable than before the rejection. So the next time you face rejection, remember, your silence isn't just an absence of words. It's a powerful statement that says, I'm different, I'm confident, and I'm mysteriously untouchable. If you've ever experienced the power of staying mysterious through silence, drop a zip it in the comments below. And trust me, you won't want to miss our second reason. It's a total game changer for every Sigma female out there. Reason 3. Silence preserves your power. Silence is the ultimate display of dignity. It shows you're not willing to lower your standards or beg for acceptance. You're too valuable for that. Silence is a powerful expression of dignity and grace, especially in the face of rejection. When someone dismisses or rejects us, it's easy to feel hurt and vulnerable, tempting us to react impulsively. However, responding with silence sends a strong message. You value yourself too much to chase after someone who doesn't appreciate your worth. By choosing not to engage in a desperate plea for acceptance, you maintain your standards and self-respect. It's not about being cold or unfeeling. Rather, it's about recognizing your own value and refusing to compromise it for the sake of someone else's approval. When you stay silent, you're demonstrating that you won't lower your standards just to gain someone's attention or validation. This approach not only protects your dignity, but also allows you to stand tall in your self-worth. You're saying, "I know what I bring to the table, and I won't settle for less." This attitude of dignity can transform how you perceive rejection. Instead of viewing it as a personal failure, you begin to see it as a natural part of life, one that doesn't define you or diminish your value. By maintaining grace in these moments, you not only empower yourself, but also set a standard for how others should treat you. People are more likely to respect someone who carries themselves with dignity, and in many cases, they will reconsider their actions when they see that you are not affected by their rejection. So, when you choose to remain silent, you're also choosing strength. You're reaffirming that your worth is not dependent on someone else's opinion or acceptance. Silence in this context becomes a powerful tool for self-affirmation. It allows you to hold your head high and walk away with your self-esteem intact, knowing that you are deserving of respect and kindness. This doesn't mean you should never express your feelings. Rather, it highlights the importance of timing and the need to choose your battles wisely. In moments of rejection, silence can be your shield, protecting your dignity while also paving the way for personal growth and empowerment. So, if you believe in maintaining your dignity, even when faced with rejection, hit that like button. Remember, every time you choose silence over desperation, you strengthen your self-worth and become a beacon of dignity for yourself and others. Hit that like button if you believe in maintaining your dignity, even in the face of rejection. Stick around for tip number 3, reason 4, reevaluation and red flags. When facing rejection, emotions can run high, pushing us to respond quickly or defend ourselves. However, responding impulsively often leads to words we don't truly mean or actions that don't represent our best selves. For Sigma females, known for their independence, self-reliance and unique approach to life, staying silent in the face of rejection is a powerful strategy that demonstrates both strength and control. Here's why this approach is so effective. First, staying silent allows you to maintain control of the situation. Rejection can feel like an attack on your character or capabilities, and people often expect you to react defensively or emotionally. When you don't give them the response they're anticipating, it disrupts their expectations. This subtle shift puts you back in charge of the narrative. Instead of appearing rattled or vulnerable, you come across as composed and unbothered. This level of composure can make others see you as more confident and unshakable, traits that embody the essence of a Sigma female. Silence also communicates that you don't need validation from external sources. Rejection often brings with it a sense of wanting to prove yourself or explain why you should be accepted. But when you choose not to react, you're sending a powerful message that your worth isn't defined by someone else's opinion. This quiet confidence speaks volumes about your self-assurance. It says, "I know who I am, and I don't need anyone to validate that." For Sigma females who thrive on independence and inner strength, this approach is perfectly aligned with their values. Another benefit of choosing silence is that it shields your emotions from being misinterpreted or used against you. Reacting impulsively can lead to misunderstandings or conflicts that escalate beyond what's necessary. A silent response, however, leaves no room for others to twist your words or intentions. This protects your personal power by ensuring that you stay in control of how you're perceived. It allows you to handle the situation on your terms and respond only when and if it feels right. In addition, staying silent gives you time to reflect and decide on your next steps. Rejection, whether it's in relationships, work, or social situations, can initially sting. Taking time to process your emotions without reacting immediately helps you see the bigger picture and make more thoughtful decisions. Instead of acting in the heat of the moment, silence lets you pause, gather your thoughts, and approach the situation with a clearer mind later on, if needed. This strategic pause is especially beneficial for Sigma females who value deep thinking and calculated action over rash reactions. Choosing silence also shows that you're not driven by ego or the need for immediate gratification. You're secure enough to let a moment of discomfort pass without letting it dictate your actions. This reflects true strength, as it takes more discipline to stay silent than to react. By holding back, you're showcasing an unwavering inner confidence that makes others respect you, even if they don't always agree with you. For a Sigma female, it's a statement of power, self-respect, and mastery over your emotions. Embracing this response not only preserves your power, but also sets you apart as someone who moves through life with grace and determination. Has silence ever saved your energy? Share your story below. The next reason will blow your mind. Reason 5. It preserves your energy. Rejection can often feel like a harsh blow, but it can also serve as a significant wake-up call, prompting us to reevaluate our circumstances and the people in our lives. In the moment of rejection, we might experience a flood of emotions, sadness, anger, or disappointment. However, embracing silence during this time can be incredibly beneficial, as it provides the necessary space to step back and assess the situation with a clearer, more objective perspective. When we pause instead of reacting immediately, we have the opportunity to reflect on what just happened and why it occurred. This reflection can lead to some valuable insights about ourselves and our relationships. Perhaps that rejection was not just a personal setback, but a protective mechanism, saving us from situations or individuals that may not have been in our best interest. For instance, if someone rejected you for a job or a relationship, it might be tempting to view it as a failure. But when you take a moment of silence to think about it, you might realize that this rejection opened the door to something better that aligns more closely with your values and goals. It's essential to recognize that not every opportunity is meant for us, and sometimes the universe has a way of redirecting us to paths that are more suitable. By giving yourself the time to reflect, you can identify any red flags that you might have overlooked before. Maybe you ignored certain behaviors or patterns that weren't healthy or conducive to your growth. Silence allows you to connect the dots and understand that this rejection was a blessing in disguise, prompting you to reconsider your choices and priorities. This period of re-evaluation can lead to profound personal growth. It encourages you to ask important questions. What do I truly want? What are my non-negotiables? What lessons can I learn from this experience? By positioning rejection as a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block, you empower yourself to move forward with greater clarity and purpose. The silence gives you the strength to discern what truly matters in your life, helping you to cultivate healthier relationships and make better decisions in the future. In this way, rejection becomes not an endpoint, but a transformative moment that propels you toward a more fulfilling path. So, while rejection can initially feel painful, remember that it's an opportunity for growth and self-discovery. Embrace the silence, allow yourself to reflect, and you may find that what initially felt like a setback is, in fact, a crucial step toward your personal empowerment and happiness. Share a time when rejection revealed a red flag you're grateful for. Now, let's keep uncovering these silent strengths. Reason 6, it keeps others guessing. Moving on to our 5th powerful reason, let's talk about something that every Sigma female needs to master: energy conservation. You know that feeling when you've been rejected and your mind starts racing with all the things you want to say, that burning desire to explain, defend, or even argue. Well, I'm here to tell you why resisting that urge is one of the smartest moves you can make. Think of your energy like your phone's battery life. Every word you speak in defense of yourself, every explanation you give, every attempt to change someone's mind, that's like running multiple apps at once. It drains you, both emotionally and mentally. But when you choose silence, you're basically putting your phone in power-saving mode. Smart, right? Let me break this down with a real-life example. One of our community members shared how she used to spend hours crafting perfect responses to rejection emails, trying to convince people why they were wrong about her. By the end of each response, she felt mentally exhausted and emotionally drained. But when she started practicing silence, something amazing happened. All that energy she used to waste on explanations, she redirected it into learning new skills, building her business, and focusing on self-improvement. Here's the truth bomb. People who reject you often want to see you drain your energy trying to prove them wrong. They expect you to exhaust yourself explaining your worth. But as a Sigma female, you're too strategic for that game. Instead of spending your precious energy trying to change someone's opinion, which rarely works anyway, you're investing it in yourself. This isn't just about being lazy or avoiding confrontation. It's about being smart with your resources. Every moment you spend defending yourself against rejection is a moment you could be using to level up your life. While others are busy explaining themselves, you're busy expanding your empire. Think about successful CEOs and leaders. They don't run around explaining their worth to everyone who doubts them. They let their actions and success speak for themselves. That's the energy preservation strategy we're talking about. Your silence becomes your power move, allowing you to focus on what really matters: your growth, your goals, and your future. Remember, the people who are meant to be in your life won't need a PowerPoint presentation about your worth. And for those who've rejected you, let your silence fuel your success story. Have you experienced how silence can save your precious energy? Share your energy-saving story in the comments below. And stay tuned. Our 3rd reason about silence is about to reveal something that will completely transform how you handle rejection. Reason 7. Detachment and non-neediness. One of the most intriguing aspects of choosing silence in response to rejection is the mystery it creates. When you don't react, people start to wonder, what is she thinking? How does she feel? What will she do next? This element of unpredictability works in your favor, especially as a Sigma female. It keeps the ball in your court and maintains an air of independence that others find hard to read and even harder to control. Silence disrupts the ordinary. Most people are used to getting immediate responses, whether it's words of defense, explanations, or emotional outbursts. But when they're met with silence, it shifts the dynamic. Instead of the focus being on your reaction, the attention shifts back to those who rejected you. Now, they're left questioning themselves. Did I underestimate her? Did I make the right choice? Why isn't she responding? This uncertainty is powerful. It positions you as someone who is confident enough not to rush to explain, defend, or validate herself in the face of rejection. For a Sigma female, this is natural behavior. Sigma women don't conform to expectations. They thrive on independence and following their unique paths. By staying silent, you reinforce that you're not predictable or easily influenced. This subtle form of unpredictability makes others realize that they can't put you in a box or fully anticipate your moves. It adds a layer of mystery that sets you apart from others who might react impulsively or predictably. Keeping people guessing is more than just a psychological advantage. It's a way to protect your inner self and emotional boundaries. Silence allows you to control what you reveal and when you reveal it. You can take the time to decide your next step rather than feeling pressured to react on the spot. This keeps others on their toes and preserves your space to act strategically when you're ready. Your silence becomes a statement that communicates, "I decide when and how I respond, not you." This unpredictability can also work to your advantage in social and professional circles. When people can't read you, they often tread carefully. They're unsure of what might come next, so they're more likely to approach you with respect or a sense of caution. This effect can give you the upper hand in negotiations, relationships, and competitive situations. It turns your silence into an invisible force that shapes how others perceive and interact with you. So, have you ever chosen to stay silent and left someone guessing? If you have, you probably noticed the power it holds. People are intrigued by what they don't understand, and silence plays perfectly into that dynamic. It's an affirmation of your independence and shows that you operate on your own terms. Silence isn't emptiness. It's a choice that speaks volumes without a single word. Silence sends a clear message. You're not desperate. You're not defined by someone else's opinion. This self-assuredness is magnetic. Silence, particularly in the face of rejection, serves as a powerful statement of self-assuredness and emotional resilience. When you choose to remain silent after being rejected, you send a clear and powerful message to the world. You are not desperate for validation or approval. This is crucial, especially for Sigma females who pride themselves on their independence and self-sufficiency. In a society that often equates worth with external validation, staying silent demonstrates that your sense of self is not contingent upon someone else's opinion of you. You recognize your own value and understand that your worth is inherent, not tied to the approval of others. This profound self-awareness creates a magnetic aura around you, drawing people in rather than pushing them away. When you react with silence, it shows that you are comfortable in your own skin. This detachment from the need for validation allows you to maintain emotional stability and composure even when faced with rejection. Instead of chasing after someone who has chosen to distance themselves, you embrace your independence and recognize that you have the power to define your own identity. This kind of emotional detachment is not about being cold or indifferent. Rather, it's about valuing yourself enough to know that you don't need to beg for someone's attention or approval. You become the one who sets the tone, rather than being at the mercy of someone else's decisions or judgments. This self-assuredness is incredibly magnetic. People are naturally drawn to those who exude confidence and self-respect. When you carry yourself with dignity and grace, others perceive you as someone who knows her worth. This can shift dynamics in your relationships, making others reconsider how they interact with you. They might suddenly find themselves more interested in your thoughts, feelings, and presence. The more you embody this non-neediness, the more you empower yourself to build healthy, balanced relationships based on mutual respect rather than dependency or desperation. Moreover, practicing detachment helps you cultivate a mindset that is focused on personal growth and fulfillment rather than external approval. you start shifting your focus inward, prioritizing your own needs, desires, and aspirations. This change in perspective can lead to a more fulfilling life, where your happiness is sourced from within rather than being reliant on external factors. By embracing silence, you allow yourself the freedom to explore your interests, passions, and goals without the distraction of seeking validation from others. In essence, silence becomes a powerful tool that helps you detach from the need for external approval. It reinforces your belief in your own worth and encourages you to cultivate a strong sense of self. This magnetic self-assuredness not only enhances your own life, but also enriches the lives of those around you. When you know your worth, you inspire others to recognize their own. So the next time you experience rejection, remember that your silence speaks volumes about your strength, resilience, and unwavering sense of self. Embrace it and watch how it transforms your relationships and your life for the better. Have you ever regretted reacting impulsively to a rejection? Share your story in the comments below. Reason 8. It shows unshakable confidence. Now, let's dive into our last powerful reason: how silence shows unshakable confidence. Imagine being in a situation where you've just faced rejection. Maybe it's a job opportunity you wanted, a relationship that didn't pan out, or a social group that didn't accept you. In that moment, the average reaction might be to feel hurt, defensive, or even lash out. But as a Sigma female, you know that true confidence is displayed in how you handle these situations. Only someone who truly believes in their worth can remain calm and composed when faced with rejection. When you choose silence instead of reaction, you're sending a strong message that resonates with confidence. Your silence becomes an affirmation of your self-worth. It says, "I don't need your validation to know who I am." This is a powerful stance that can be truly magnetic. People are drawn to confidence like a moth to a flame. When you don't react with desperation or anger, you stand out in a world full of emotional responses. Your calm demeanor speaks volumes, showing that you are secure in yourself and your abilities. Let's break this down further. Think about the most confident people you know. They're often the ones who don't feel the need to explain themselves or defend their choices. Instead, they carry this air of assurance that makes others respect them. By staying silent in the face of rejection, you align yourself with this same level of confidence. You're not just accepting the rejection, you're acknowledging that it doesn't define you. You remain grounded in your identity and self-worth, regardless of external opinions. This principle can be illustrated through a simple analogy. Think of a beautiful tree standing tall in a storm. The winds may blow fiercely and the branches may sway, but the roots hold firm. That tree knows its strength, just as you know yours. When you respond to rejection with silence, you become like that tree, unmoved by external forces, firmly rooted in your own value. A powerful example comes from a follower who once faced rejection after an interview for a dream job. Instead of pleading for feedback or trying to convince the interviewer of her skills, she chose to thank them and step away quietly. Her calm response left a lasting impression. Later, when an even better opportunity arose, she was the first person they thought of, not because she begged for their approval, but because she handled rejection with grace and confidence. Your silence in these moments not only showcases your self-assurance, but also invites others to rethink their perceptions of you. They start to see you as someone who commands respect and admiration. You become a figure of strength, someone who doesn't crumble under pressure, but instead stands tall, knowing that your worth is inherent and not dictated by others. So, the next time you encounter rejection, remember that your silence is not a sign of weakness. It is a powerful demonstration of your unshakable confidence. You are the queen of your own life, and you don't need anyone else to validate that. Let me share a story that sums this up. A friend of mine, a true Sigma female, once faced a harsh rejection at work. Instead of arguing or explaining herself, she stayed silent, took time to reassess her plans, and later came back stronger with her own successful project. That silence wasn't just a pause, it was her way of planning her comeback. So, to recap, silence isn't just the absence of sound, it's a tool for strength. By choosing silence, you can preserve your power, reflect, avoid drama, protect your emotional health, and even turn rejection into motivation. Remember, Sigma females, staying silent isn't weakness. It's a sign of unmatched inner power. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever stayed silent during a moment of rejection? How did it impact you? Share your stories in the comments. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and watch our next video on mastering resilience in the face of setbacks. Stay strong, Sigmas.